how are you doing? How's your house? I mean, where did your house go?
Oh, right. I mean, like I said, health and safety over here is totally different. And it was a case of the builder just said, well, obviously Matthew's like running the site and he's like, make sure all the kids are in the back of the house. Next minute, I just heard, and I looked out and it was just like this load of smoke. And I just thought, oh my God. And I started catastrophizing. Basically, the back of the house just fell down more dramatically than it should have done. It should have been in stages, so the whole thing just imploded. And it just freaked me out. I just thought, what happens if the kids had been there, or even now it's the dogs, and my head goes, you know, and then I start catastrophizing, what if. And
don't think what if, but I didn't realise you were doing that much work. I didn't realise it was going to be, I mean, I was shocked when I saw the photos when you said, oh, we're going out to Spain, it's quite good because we just need to do a bit of like,
let's just take the whole back end of the house off, shall we? And add a few bedrooms. I mean, no, you know me, I don't do anything by half.
I was about to say that.
It's going to go.
So you haven't got Matthew to do anything for years on your own houses, and now suddenly he's like going for it.
Well, I've kind of had a captive audience. I've just been like that at his ear 24/7. He's like, fine, give me a pickaxe. I'll take the back of the house off, and it's gone. So that's not what I wish. So
how are you feeling? Are you still got PMT?
No, I've now. I don't know if you noticed my post. I decided to self-medicate on GABA.
Yeah, I saw the GABA, but I didn't know where you were in your cycle now, whether or not...
I've finished now, and now I'm coming through the other side, but it's been very brutal, and I've been very sort of highly strung, and a lot of gloom, and the GABA, because I've not had any DIM, get GABA in the supermarket here, I've just been taking grams of it.
You know what I've realised? You get PMT eyes when you're not on your supplements. I can see it in your eyes.
Yeah, you said
you look quite tired around your eyes.
I got sent to bed, didn't I?
Yeah, I can sort of see it in your eyes. Like when you're on the supplements, you're all bright and sparkly like you normally are. And when you're not, your eyes just look tired, which you don't often look like that.
Is it because my body is... Because if I have a cold or anything, I feel it here. I get puffy. And so is it my body trying to detox again?
Yeah, well, also because you're firing on all cylinders. So, you're not detoxing your estrogen. You're not taking your supplement. So you're not supposed to...
And I'm constipated, FYI, everyone.
Yeah, because it affects our gut. I mean, some people get diarrhea just before their periods when the hormones kind of plummet. But absolutely, you can get constipated when progesterone is a little bit higher in the second half. But, so that's really common. But, I think it's just also because then you're kind of a bit wired, then you're sort of like your adrenaline's going, and I think you're just then running yourself down, and your eyes then just look tired, you can see it.
Well, I walked because I've not got a cleaner or anything at the moment, and so I'm doing all like trying to keep the house in some level of order, and so I'm constantly brushing the dust. And the other day I did 12 miles, and the day before I did 15 miles worth of sweeping up. 15 miles, and that was when I was on those ketone esters. So if you can imagine, can you imagine me? Just like looking at the builders going, what are you doing to my used polished floor? And they're like, this woman is mental.
That's
hilarious. Very good Spanish, so all they can hear is swearing in English.
I need to give you some Spanish. I need to give you some Spanish words to tell them. Maybe I'll sneak in some stuff that I'll translate badly. Mind you, there's people translate.
It's better not. I could just be the mad English woman in the corner who can't polish it.
It's funny. Someone just said,
polishing a turd. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Somebody just said then, which is quite funny. Oh, I love it. Toilet talk again. Yeah. Davinia and I. So if you don't know us already, it's very often we talk about
subject. Better out than in.
And you know what my son said? Yeah, so we talk about poo a lot, but he asked me today, I was dropping him going down to the driving range, and he said, so what's your topic tonight on your live? And I said, hormone or weight gain. He goes, don't you talk about that every week?
Oh my God, they don't know anything, the bastards.
I was like, well, yeah, actually, it's a really,
definitely interested too.
But like, as you said, how many women either want to maintain their weight or want to lose weight or want to understand why they can't lose weight, they plateau. You know, this is a huge subject, which is why we've got so many questions.
Yeah.
But
okay,
we're going to talk about, you know, because you did chat.
yes, I wanted to know,
Interested.
I spoke to Danielle Lloyd yesterday, and she loves them. She's on them every day. My personal thing about these ketones is I'm going to liken it a bit to a nicotine patch. So, you know, when you come off smoking, or, I mean, I was fine coming off smoking. My devil is white wine. I know I can't go near that stuff. But I also know that coming off carbs is tricky for me as well. So something like this would be like putting a nicotine patch on if I had a problem with smoking. And it's not forever. And if you're on that Domino's pizza, waking up having Weetabix toast, and you just can't get yourself out of that, it's like a trough. If you can't dig yourself out of it, maybe the ketone esters will give you those 24 hours to just get it out your system and give you that crutch you need. I mean, one woman texted me today and she says she has better results just doing the MCT oil and coffee. And I find that if I up my fat, I find my sugar cravings dissipate. So I think either you up your fat and do it the sort of traditional way like I do, like a sort of bulletproof approach, or if you can't bear coffee or you just really need to open a sachet and buy something, psychologically, it's like literally putting a patch on you and helping you get over a few days. It could be just the leg up you need. Or say if you're going into the supermarket and that's your trigger to start buying crisps and sweets, maybe have a ketone ester before then, or before you go out for a Chinese. For me, it's a tool. It's not going to change your life.
And also, you know, I mean, the thing is, I mean, everyone's different. So as I do, you know, I get a bit excited about genes, and I love looking at your genes. And I didn't discover, obviously, I know we've been through all your reports, but I mean, there's a ton of genes. So I was having a look at your genes again today, as I do, just for fun. And you've got some quite nice fat-burning genes. So, you know, this is the thing, is that everyone is different, and keto might suit some people, you know, it might not suit other people. Some people, we lose a lot of weight on it. Some people, it's not great. So it is very individual. But now we've discussed your PGC1A gene, which I know a lot of people have done their nutrient core report in the female test. So that's about your sort of ability to break down fat, and you need to work hard with your metabolism, which you do. So you do have a snip on that gene, Davinia. But then I found this other gene that means you've got a really good fat burning potential, and you can adapt in training to burning fat for fuel very easily, like when you're doing your marathon.
So that's why I find that if I do slow and steady, like a HIIT class, if I give my body time to get into fat burning mode, I will do it. So for me, the HIIT is a mental thing and it takes 20 minutes. But if I do slow and steady, like I say, incline walk, everyone, because your body will get fat burning easy.
Well, for you, yes, because you've got this, it's called PPAR alpha. PPAR alpha. PPAR. So your PPAR alpha gene, you've got the wild type, so you can absolutely adapt. But it's this AMPD1 gene that's in your athletes report that's very interesting, because this is about being able to sustain endurance activity, and you have the best version of that gene, which is suited for endurance.
Like that.
I don't, which is why I'm not particularly good at endurance. But yes, but you do. So there we go, and you're doing the exercise that you're best suited to. So interesting. But that's what I mean. Everyone's different. I suit HIIT training. So
how long do you HIIT for? Because there's some really super fast hits, like there's the Carol bike is out there. I've still not tried it, but it's 6 minutes and that's it. So that could be really good for some people who just cannot cope with exercise. Personally, I kind of look forward to the buzz I get into after 20 minutes. Today, not exercising for ages, and I felt so much better. The usual story, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you love it. I will always try and avoid endurance if I can. I like strength training and I like HIIT sessions. So I like sort of faster stuff, but not for as long. And to be honest, I can't really be bothered to train for more than 20, 30 minutes either.
You have to get out doing something. Okay, fabulous. Right. Okay, actually, this question, I think we touched on it the other week about fibromyalgia on HRT, and she's got weight gain, she needs energy, she's got joint pain. Now, Danielle's mum has got fibromyalgia, and she said she'd been using these ketones and she could use her hands again and she feels much better. What would that be? Is that an anti-inflammatory response?
Well, I'm interested to know what the rest of her diet is, not just the ketones, because I find generally with clients with fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome, this thing do suit a lower carbohydrate diet. I tend to do more paleo low carbohydrate rather than keto.
That's no grains, really, isn't it?
Yeah, so I do find that lower carbohydrate does suit them quite well. So I suppose I'm interested in more about what the rest of her diet is like. Has she also reduced the amount of carbohydrate she's eating generally? Has she altered the rest of her diet? Because, I mean, I would be surprised if, I mean, I don't use keto esters or anything like that with clients, but I don't know enough about them, I have to be honest. There's not loads of research out there, but I would be surprised if I just introduced that with my clients with fibromyalgia, then all of a sudden they would be, feeling a lot better. I would kind of be surprised.
Okay.
But interesting.
So in this case, you'd recommend a paleo, low grain, low carb diet.
Yeah, I mean, I do. Yes, I would almost.
We can really take note of each week.
Yeah, I would almost go along the similar sort of like autoimmune paleo. I wouldn't necessarily, cut out pulses because they are a very good source of fibre.
How would you prepare the pulses though? Because they need preparing, they need soaking, don't they?
Yeah, and I mean, everyone's different. Again, I have some clients with autoimmune diseases and that doesn't bother them. They can eat them and they're fine with the small amounts of lectins. I mean, we should be able to, even though we do find it difficult to break them down, these lectins, it's really only some people that may have a real issue with them. So yes, it is better always if you soak your nuts and seeds and then eat them, then you can dry them out and activate them. I've got a pressure cooker, and to be honest, I just find you've got the Instant Pot. I love it. It is so easy. So I put make my quinoa in there. It's like 1 minute setting, and it will.
You've got to show me how to use all
lectins.
this stuff. I'm so shit in the kitchen. It's shocking. I literally have one recipe I can do with.
Don't. Not that bad.
Bad at cooking. But I mean, I do actually, when I buy nuts, so say if I buy like a big packet of nuts from Costco, I will soak them overnight and then I will roast them and cover them in honey and then I'll pick them. That's kind of me really going out there. And if I do it, you guarantee you'll get a picture on Instagram because I'm super chuffed with my little old homemade
pizza. That's great, and it's not difficult. It is time. Look, I don't drift things, so I tend to do the things like that I make all my own nut milks because I can't buy the equivalent in the supermarket. Now, if I'm making a smoothie, I'm not going to use my really nice nut milks in a smoothie because you can't sort of taste it anyway. But other things like I've tried making my own sauerkraut. It was too salty, and I can buy really good raw, organic, unpasteurized ones, so I don't bother with that. But things like the raw activated nuts, you can't really buy them very easily, and if you can, they're seriously expensive.
Yeah, they are.
But with a
activated, just they've been soaked overnight.
Oh, and then
they only cost £7 instead of £2. Yeah. And you get like many. Okay, so guys, I think we should activate all nuts just on the safe side.
Yeah.
Okay.
So simply,
do they have to be organic? Do nuts have to be organic?
I would prefer nuts to be organic. I wouldn't say everything has to be, but nuts, I would prefer people eating them if they're organic. And I just buy bags online. So you can either just soak them with a bit of salt and water overnight, then rinse them, and either just have them like that. They'll probably be okay for a few days in the fridge like that. Or once you've soaked them, rinse them again to get all the soaking liquid out, and then just in a low oven, then just leave them in your oven and just let them dry out, and then just keep trying them until they taste really crunchy, completely dried out, and then store them in the fridge if you're going to have them for a while. I make big batches, so I kind of tend to store them in the fridge. But the Instant Pot I really recommend, and I'm not just you know, I've got no affiliation with Instant Pot.
Oh my God, no, you'd be like,
I wish. But I do love it, and it's so easy to cook quinoa, kills off the lectins, and also gets rid of the lectins of beans and pulses. It's taken me a while to experiment. Like when I first started, they turned out really mushy. But I do cannellini beans, I'll do haricot beans, and then just keep them in the fridge, a whole pot, and then add to my salads and things, and it will get rid of the lectins. And they are a really good source of fibre, and you tend to find that they'll make you fart less if you cook them in the Instant Pot.
Ah, okay. So like beans, good for your heart.
Easy to digest.
They've not been soaked or activated, have they, baked beans?
No, I mean, some people will just, and it doesn't mean they've got major gut issues, some people will just fart a lot on beans. They just will. You know, this whole story, you know, everyone knows about, baked beans kind of thing. Yeah. Well, it's obviously the sugar and the beans, I think. But some people just will. But some people do have gut issues and they just absolutely can't tolerate them. Other people don't have any gut issues, and the only time they fart really is when they're eating beans. So
we've taken it to an all new low, haven't we?
Oh my God, we have really gone downhill. Right, okay.
Fabulous. Right, anyway, heavy periods, sore breasts, what can I do? Okay. So I get tender boobs, but not like, actually, when I had implants, they used to go like rocks. You know, awful. So, but they're not too bad now, although they still, I can tell when I'm due on. First sign is swollen boobs. What is that about? Why? And why do we
That's just a type of hormonal imbalance. I mean, look, you're going to feel the boobs slightly, but when they're really, really, really painful, then that is a sign of hormonal imbalance. It could be, it could be estrogen dominance. Now that's either just too much estrogen because you've got too much, or too much because, like you, because you're not detoxifying it.
So we're recycling it again and again and again.
So sore breasts, we just put into the pot all of these hormonal symptoms, which are often to do with estrogen dominance. So we're talking about sore breasts, heavy periods, fibroids, PMT, and of course PMT is a whole another massive subject, like what are exactly your symptoms of PMT. But all of these are hormonal, imbalances, and often it is to do with an inability to break down estrogen, or it's the estrogen progesterone ratio. It's that sort of like too much estrogen compared to progesterone.
And so someone's just text there saying that Dim gets sore breasts. So what would indicate that Dim is getting her sore breasts?
Well, she I mean, I don't know. I hope I didn't recommend that person to take Dim, because I hope
you know someone's DNA and you'd know where they were.
So that will be, she doesn't need Dim.
Okay.
So what might have happened, she doesn't need Dim. It's actually, or she does need it and hasn't supported the next pathway. Because remember, we've talked about that bath analogy. Dim is turning the tap on, the water's flushing through. But what if the plug is in? It's stage 2 detox, and then the water's filling up the bath, it's not getting out. So actually, she's potentially made something a lot faster. Okay, we're turning the tap on, getting that estrogen flushing through, but then it still can't get out. So that's why got to really look at the full picture. So sometimes, yes, Dim can make it worse, not better.
These lot are having a laugh. They're saying, "Who's Don?" Don gave me a headache. I'm like, poor Don. Who's Don?
What's Don saying? Is Don joined our chat? Are there men out there? Are there men joining our chat that shouldn't?
No. It's just some girl she mistyped and it's auto anyway. Okay, so. Right, so just say you've turned on the estrogen, you've got the estrogen coming through, you're taking Dim, it's flushing through, you've got to that second detox level. What is the next supplement to pass that?
Okay. So the next stage would be, I'd be looking at methylation, and that's like your COMT gene, which yours is slow. I can't remember if you're homozygous or heterozygous, but you are slow anyway. And so that's where it'd be things like magnesium, but then possibly looking at the whole methylation, B12, folate, phosphatidylcholine, all these kind of things.
How about
Then,
evening primrose oil? I remember you giving me that. Is that for that second cycle?
no, that's just generally not for estrogen detoxification. Evening primrose oil, sort of GLA, borage oil, so things like that are just generally good for hormones anyway. As a just general thing, whether it's even sort of perimenopause, menopause, it's nice anyway for hormones. So you, Davinia, you need, as I remember, you needed support sort of in every pathway. So phase 1, DIM, then a bit like me. Then comp support. So that was a bit sluggish and slow. And then we did get you on for a bit, which it's good to sometimes rotate CAD glucarate as well for phase 2. So we've had you on that, and we've had you off, then we concentrated on COMT. And then at the very end, so this is the liver, but then eventually it will come out via bile in our stool and urine as well, but particularly via bile in our stool. So we need to make sure that the gut's working well. Because imagine if we turn the tap on, we've got the water flushing through, coming through the plug, going out the drain, and then it gets stuck because you're constipated.
Yeah.
So, of course, working on gut issues is always really important because that's eventually how it's going to leave our body. And then I talked last week about this bacteria called beta-glucuronidase. And so if we've got gut issues and this beta-glucuronidase gets a bit out of control, it binds to estrogen. Oh, my God, it sends it back up again.
Right. So you've got the whole cycle again, mood, everything. Got you. Yeah. It's so important to be able to detox, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's why I'd like you to eat lots of broccoli and also remember your MTHFR. So you had a slip on that gene, but we didn't want to get your methylated folate at the time because you had another gene that stopped the feedback loop. So if we went in too heavy-handed, you'd get a bit blocked. So that's why I said, come on, let's just get you even juicing as well, but let's just get you eating and consuming a lot of green leafy vegetables for the folate. So it's kind of a win-win. You've got it for your estrogen detox and for methylation, folate.
I've got that is one of my bugbears, eating vegetables. I've always been crap. Okay, I'm on HRT, but I still get period pains, although I've not had a period for 6 years, and she still has the moods. What's that about?
Okay, so she's on HRT.
But still gets period pains.
Oh, here we go.
But she's had it for 6 years.
And not had periods for 6 weeks, and she has moods. Okay, so that's interesting. I don't know how old she is and why she's on HRT. So, so she has not had periods for 6 years. So actually, I presume she's officially in menopause, and she still gets period pains. Are they true period pains, like getting every month? Yeah, that's interesting, actually. Is the HRT, causing that, some issues that's giving her these sort of so-called period pains? I don't know. That's a hard one. Is she not detoxifying her HRT, so she's getting these hormonal estrogen detox issues? Because remember, we talked about HRT coming in as well. It's exactly the same thing. If you're taking HRT, and you have the same SNPs we were talking about on the different genes in those different pathways, and you're taking HRT, it's going to could give you hormonal symptoms, but also possibly, if you've got SNPs on those genes, put you at higher risk of breast cancer, you see.
Okay, so I'd say for her, of course, thinking excessive estrogen, etc., and the trouble that could bring. Would she go for a Dutch test at this point and see what the hell is going on? No,
because she's on HRT, then I think the DNA testing would be better because it's slightly skewed the results when you're on HRT and the Dutch test, whereas DNA testing, of course, you don't need to be on anything. And also, your Dutch test, the only thing is it's great, but you can't see phase 2, like the glucuronidation pathway, the sulfonation pathway, which I did look at yours the other day. It's like snip on that quickly, eat your onions, your garlic, your asparagus, your leeks.
More greenery, shrubbery, as I call it.
So I'd be interested in seeing her. There's a gene called the ESR1 as well, which is your sensitivity to estrogen. So if you're taking HRT, you've got a SNP on that gene. It could make you a little bit at higher risk of breast cancer. So then we really want to support her detox pathways.
And would you say stay on the HRT, support the detox pathways, or would you look at something more natural than HRT, seeing she's not had a period in 6 years, yet she's still in period pains? It's obviously not suiting her.
Yeah, well, I mean, I can't, you know, as I said, I've said before, so that's not my thing, HRT. I'm not a doctor, so that's not my area. But so it's totally up to them, between them and their doctor. If she wanted to come off HRT, of course, then we'd look at something more natural, a way of getting impacts with a female glandular. And then maybe we wouldn't need to go in with supporting the detox, because if you get to menopause and your levels are so low, well, then we haven't really got a lot to detox.
Yeah.
So I think if you're on HRT, maybe need to look at, depending on your genes, helping you detoxify that HRT. If you're not on HRT,
would you see? I mean, see what you like without the HRT, because clearly it's not suiting, is it?
Yeah, and you have to be careful. As I said last week, I've got a client who she is doing it in line with her gynecologist, so she's coming off really slowly.
I mean, I just want an army.
Yeah, but I told you about that one though. She hadn't been feeling great, you know, was in weight gain, and we didn't realise. We did wonder about the HRT, but it wasn't until she started coming off and taking it every third day. And the day after that third day, we know how awful she feels. So it wasn't until then that we realised quite what the HRT was doing. Yeah. So, I mean, but for some people, it's absolute, you know, magic, and it changes their life overnight. So,
but you change and you evolve as you age. You know, we can't just say what happened 5 years ago still works.
No, you've got to be looking at it all the time.
What happened was 5 years ago, and I'm sure in 5 years' time, I'll be doing something else ridiculous.
Yeah, so I'm hoping, because of my genes, Davinia, and both our genes being sort of fairly similar, I'm hoping that, you know, the next thing I'll be looking at, if I need it, well, I'm not perimenopausal yet, but I keep wondering. I'm not yet, though. But I'm 47 on Thursday, so not a million miles away. So I'm hoping, you know, I won't have to get to that stage. Because of my genes, I would just rather not take HRT. I just, you know, I'm at slightly higher risk of breast cancer.
You will super support the detox pathway.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah.
You've got to.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you know, what...
But I would go female glandular first, try that, and a supplement. So female glandular to get the sort of hormones in. And then I would consider bioidentical hormones. And we know that bioidentical progesterone, there aren't those kind of cancer risks. It's very low. So, yeah.
Super. Okie dokie. Right. Should women in menopause eat less carbs and more protein? What should we eat or avoid?
Yeah, I think it is time, unfortunately, to be dropping down those carbs. We cannot metabolize those carbohydrates like we used to.
And do you know what? I mean, also, just to say, you know, it's not unfortunate. They actually make you sleepy. They make me really lethargic and sleepy. Yeah. It is. It's like, you know, it's like putting me to sleep. If I have bread or a sandwich or even some heavy sort of potatoes, I'm ready for my bed.
Yeah, me too.
Now I'm kind of looking at it as, okay, do I want to feel sleepy? Not, oh God, look at a nice bacon butty or whatever. I just say, I don't want to feel sleepy in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Very much. I've got 3 kids and a husband and a building site and 2 dogs to deal with.
You know what used to be my worst one? The absolute thing that would knock me dead was a baked potato.
Oh, really? Cozy, loads of butter and cheese. Right, okay.
Great. Absolutely.
Why is that? Potatoes anti-nutrients.
Yeah, but I think it's a heavy amount of carbs. I just literally would just want to sleep after that. I mean, I just can't imagine. I do remember those days after sandwiches and baked potatoes. Baked potato was the worst. But yeah, we can't, as we get older, we just can't break down. It's not like our children, you know, they're sort of burning off. We become more insulin resistant. Then our metabolism slows down a bit as well. So we just shouldn't be eating a ton of carbohydrates, no. And we don't have to necessarily do keto, but I do think we need to get those carbohydrates down for sure. Yeah.
I know, and it puts, I don't know, it might sound dramatic. I get a sort of like negative inner monologue, and I'm so in touch with my thought process. I've got to be, because I'm in recovery, and that's what we're trying to do. Check your thinking. But I know now, if I have carbs, even if they're fabulous carbs, you know, like from a super expensive organic shop, I know my mood can take a downward spiral, and my inner monologue goes quite premenstrual almost. It's like I'm a little bit down on myself, and it's literally like I've taken a sedative, and I don't like it anymore. And I've identified that, and it's almost like it's a freedom. You know, I don't metabolize it very well. And I don't care what anybody says. If I have carbs before I go for a run, forget it. I'm so tired. I don't feel light. My muscles don't work properly. My gut's all over the place. I just don't understand that carb loading.
Yeah.
You know, like
it's really old-fashioned, the whole carb loading,
where everybody's eating tons and tons and tons of pea protein and all sorts of soy. And I mean, it's just so overwhelming amount of carbs before you exercise. I mean, I suppose it's okay if you're an ultra runner, but not many of us run 300 miles a week. Last time I checked.
No, I know. I mean, if you think about it, look, it makes us sleepy. So for some people who perhaps don't make serotonin very well and then don't make melatonin very well, maybe a little bit of carbohydrate in the evening or a small carbohydrate protein snack can help them sleep. But that's what it does. It's going to make you sleepy. And also,
I mean,
just generally, it's not.
I'd like to have, say in winter, I'll have like a gluten-free porridge oats at night watching the telly. And I know I will just go to sleep.
Yeah.
You know, I'm fine doing that because I know I'm just going to get whacked out. I'm going to have a really deep sleep. But some people can't eat at stupid o'clock at night while watching Netflix. I can. It's one of my many talents.
Yeah.
You know?
And everyone's different. I mean, everyone's different with what they need in the evening as well, depending on their content. My husband's got. I mean, this is really. We can't just generalize just on one gene, but my husband's got a few genes. One of his genes got very fast compt. And actually, if he doesn't have any protein in his evening meal, he can't sleep.
Wow. So he's like, turns it into glucose really quickly and starts.
So he will, and it will. So basically, he'll increase his insulin. It suppresses melatonin, but also I think he's getting rid of his serotonin very quickly because he's got this. You know, he's got and so all his neurotransmitters. So it needs to support his neurotransmitters because he's like getting rid of them sort of really quickly. So I think he's got fast. It's called MAO and fast comp. So it's basically he's getting rid of his neurotransmitters very quickly. So obviously they help with things like sleep and that sort of thing. So I'm fine. I could have normally I do have protein, but I could have a vegetable curry or something like that. Not a problem. But for him, if I do that, oh my God, disaster. So he has to always have protein in his evening meal, otherwise he won't sleep.
Oh my God, I think I've sleep stood up. Right, let's see, okay. I bloat 10 days before my period, even without eating. Is that just, and it's just there all the time. I'm taking B6 and star flour, but I still have issues. What is the 10-day, like, you know, the bloating that comes? I get it like about 3 days before my period.
Yeah.
But 10 days is a long time. That's like
but some people do this. Some people start. I mean, I don't see the distension, but I definitely feel from about 10 days. I don't look it, but I could feel a touch. I'm in that part of my cycle. So it is very common as your hormones. So as estrogen drops and your progesterone is rising, then that hormone imbalance can affect the sort of bloating, the distension, water retention, and also just the anatomy of where everything is. It's being sort of close together, so it's going to affect your gut as well. So it is just really, really common. I mean, serotonin, as we know, resides in the gut, and dropping levels of estrogen. So we need estrogen to help make serotonin. So in the second half of your cycle, estrogen isn't as dominant. Progesterone tends to be the more dominant one. So estrogen is moderate, I suppose, and progesterone takes over. So you've got that element as well. So I'd be looking at helping with sort of water retention, making sure drinking lots of water. And then
horsetail is really good. I found with water retention, you can get big bags on Amazon and you just steep it like a tea, or I put it in a cafetiere and like plunge it as if I was drinking coffee, and then you've got like a litre of horsetail tea and you just sip it throughout the day and you can ice it, and it's super, super quick.
Yeah. But I mean, it depends how bad the bloating is, I suppose. If it's just a little bit, you feel just a little bit bloated, well, you know, that is quite normal. But if the bloating is really out of hand, then, you know, and possibly even we maybe even be looking at supporting serotonin in the gut.
Would you take 5-HTP then?
It might work. I mean, I was bloating a bit after I had a long haul flight and came back and just literally I blew up after we landed. And I started on a supplement called Serotonin. They can't call it serotonin. It's our allergy research. So I put Serotonin. I think I gave some to you actually.
Yeah.
And it really helped.
Had that, taken that. That's all.
Had that one. She's done it all. We're talking supplement queen. If I let you have access to my supplement cupboard, you doesn't the whole flipping lot.
In a week. I just have to
anyway, so
I literally
took this supplement.
An addict because like there's this saying and it's like, okay, so they found a pill that will cure addiction. And my brain says, oh, I wonder what 2 will do.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I always think that's why it's good I've got you, because obviously you told me to have DIN and I took 3 instead of your 1 in the morning and 2 in the afternoon. I just took 3 times a day and look what happened. It just went wrong. So
your 2OH pathway, because what we were trying to do was push you from the sort of the bad pathway, the 4-hydroxy, trying to push you more down the protective, nice pathway in the liver, the 2-hydroxy. You went mad. You were off the scale. I've never seen 2OH so high.
Yeah, that's what I do. Too much of everything. Oh, well, now we know.
Anyway, right.
Okay, so for bloating, she's taking B6 and starflower, but she still has issues. Just one more thing you'd recommend for that bloating. I'd say I'd just cut out the inflammatory foods as well for those last 10 days. I'd stay away from grains and everything.
I mean, I think in that second cycle, absolutely cut down on those carbs, protein at each meal, get the sugars out. Got to be so much, stricter with your diet. But yes, the B6 and also maybe all B vitamins. Look at all B vitamins. Also magnesium, because if you think this bloating, it's like it is a muscle.
Magnesium.
You don't want to fall asleep, so maybe try it. Well, magnesium malate, perhaps. But some people don't feel sleepy on citrate or glycinate.
Oh, so you can have it at night then before bed and just get it.
Yeah, you could do that because
I always have magnesium at night, just
because it is a muscle
in the bath or as an oil or just to chuck down my neck, and it stops that legs as well. I find. I just think, Epsom salt bars. I just think because it's a muscle and it's just suddenly it's involuntary sort of bloating, then magnesium can help with muscle. So maybe try that as well. Evening primrose oil she is. B6, maybe try all the Bs. But then also looking at estrogen detoxification, pathways as well, which is going to be... It's another DNA test, really, isn't it?
Yeah. In an ideal world, yeah. Then we really know what we're doing.
I think it's it's much better than a handbag. It's better than a pair of earrings. It's better than a dress. Who gives a shit what you wear as long as you feel good, So
and you only do it once. People sometimes ask me, "Oh, should we do this again in maybe a year's time?" And I go, "No, you don't need to be doing
this. No, it's one.
This is it. It's a one-off. Yeah.
Okay. Right then, endometriosis supplements. Any ideas?
So similar to what we've been talking about estrogen dominance, but we need to reduce inflammation. So I think, anything, so an anti-inflammatory diet, crucial, absolutely crucial. And then systemic, so supplements to reduce systemic inflammation that may contain things like bromelain from pineapple, curcumin, so curcumin supplements can be good as well. So anything that reduces inflammation. But also absolutely looking at detox pathways. And I'd be looking at methylation for sure, because there's a lot of genes in the methylation report that Life Code GX do, where you can actually see. So I've seen clients who have endometriosis, and I can see it in their genes that they were at risk of getting endometriosis. So we can actually see there are key genes in there. But, reducing inflammation, working on estrogen detox, not drinking from, we said before, from plastic bottles, keeping away from exogenous hormones and things, not having like dairy that's not organic, or maybe not have dairy at all.
And is that just avoid any hormones.
Yeah.
Okay, and remember, plastic bottles, all stuff like microwaving stuff in plastic could trigger off those hormones, couldn't it? And I also remind you, I said it last week, lavender, apparently.
Yeah, that's an interesting
So
one.
watch out for products like lavender. And I've taken it out of everything, even like air spray. I've taken it out, you know, and like lavender oil at night, it's gone.
Yeah.
It's back.
And then if they're in a lot of pain, then maybe try some CBD oil as well.
CBD oil. Yeah, there's a nice brand. Oh God, what are they called? Apatherm. They've got a really clean CBD. They're super expensive, but they're super, super strong. So you need tiny amounts. And they're in Harvey Nichols. I think I got a discount code for them at Christmas. I'll ask again. I personally don't respond that brilliantly to CBD.
No, some people it doesn't do much.
It's up to the side to me. But I know some people seriously get a brilliant night's sleep and all their anxiety goes. I'm really into my GABA at the moment.
Yeah. I tried it for the first time the other night, okay, because I had some just anyway, which I bought a few in to help clients with arthritis because it's really good for clients with arthritis. And I never tried it. And I tried it the other night. I thought, oh, it's disgusting. You have to hold it on your tongue for a bit. Oh, my God, no joke. Within 30 seconds, I was going, oh.
Seriously?
Yeah, I was in bed. I took some.
Gallon of the stuff, it doesn't touch the sides.
So for me, I can't believe it. Well, imagine what I'd be like on drugs. And so I was like,
we're going to have to take her home again.
Oh, not her again.
Come on. I just want to tell somebody regarding the lavender. I listened to a podcast about it somehow mimicking, what is it called? Estrogen mimickers.
Yeah, so endocrine disruptors.
Endocrine disruptors. Basically, it'll mess with your hormones, make you fat. That's it. Right, okay. I am 42. I'm on thyroxine and eating well, but putting on weight. My GP tells me just to accept it, and then it's my thyroid, so there's nothing I can do. Oh, that's a bit sad. I'm sure
we don't like that. I don't like that. I don't think there is ever you should accept it. No, that's not in my book. I don't like those words. Okay, so thyroxine is obviously not doing its job. Now, I know you have to...
What is thyroxine?
So thyroxine is thyroid medication. Yeah. It's one of the hormones, T4. Now we have different hormones. They kind of work together. So we've got thyroid stimulating hormone, got T4. Generally, doctors will mainly test people for just TSH. Unless they've got a problem with that, they're not going to do any further tests.
Okay.
But on its own, it's not really relevant because T4 and TSH work like a stepper together. As one goes up, the other one goes down. So I prefer to see both. And what's in range, the UK range? I mean, seriously, I'd want people to be, say, more between 1 and 2, their TSH. But you would be 3.5 still within range.
Okay. Anyway. This is trouble because obviously our NHS is massively underfunded. So they can't do all these tests on something that isn't life-threatening. You just have to do it. So this is unfortunately where we have to do our own digging.
The lab won't pay for it.
I'm sure the cost of all this will come down when our daughters are of our age, but right now we have to invest in the technology.
Yeah, because sometimes it's not the GPs. Sometimes they want to do it and they send your bloods off and the labs come back and they won't have done it. So they don't want to because they're expensive, all these tests. But so thyroxine is T4. Sometimes people who are taking thyroxine but it's not working is possibly because they can't convert T4 to T3, which is the active fat-burning hormone.
Wow.
So therefore, then they can't lose weight. And that's what I can see on, the thyroid DNA test. If they have a SNP on the gene, which means they can't convert it very well. That is where, now blood tests can be very useful, but when it comes to DNA, that's where it's actually really, really useful to see that. Because then it's like, okay, so then we get them on a supplement which can help them with that conversion. And then we can see whether it's activated in the cells. So anyone with a thyroid issue, look, it does depend on your genes, but, I would be thinking supporting with selenium, glutathione, vitamin A, vitamin D. Obviously, that's quite a blanket terminology. It does depend on sort of what their genes and what they need. But, they do have an increased need for, for certain nutrients. Selenium is something which is, really needed for the thyroid gland. So for even just the average woman, just eating sort of 4 Brazil nuts a day, is going to give them, a lot of, sufficient selenium. But I would be
activated, Pippa.
Oh, of course, always activated. Okay. Or just eat my granola, and then you get all your nuts.
So do you activate your nuts? Yes, I do. And then you sound
my God, don't! I did
wellness warrior. Really, you just shoved them in the sink overnight.
I did a video. I did a video in the early days of Instagram, and I was in Waitrose, and it's me being, God, a real amateur. And I was talking about nut milks, and I was saying that don't stick to eating the same nut. Basically, you need to, because you can create an intolerance. So I said, don't forget to rotate your nuts. Oh my God, you imagine the comments I got after that. Everyone was like, rotating and juggling nuts. And
oh my God.
Yes, so anyway, with I would, if you can, privately, you can get T3 blood tests done. Privately, you can. Very rarely the doctors are going to do it, but I think that might be what is going on, that she's putting on weight, so the thyroxine is obviously not doing its thing. Is it because she's not converting T4 to T3?
Okay.
Maybe.
Someone's just said that their doctor said that eating Brazil nuts is mumbo jumbo. Well, unfortunately, GPs don't do any nutritional studies.
Mm-hmm.
So
it won't be.
I was on the treadmill today, and I was thinking, it takes them 7 years to qualify. What does a human being do every day? We sleep and we eat. How the hell can that not be fundamental to our health when we do it every day? Food
has always been medicine. Before we had medicine, food was always medicine. So it should still be medicine.
I know. I think things will change, but I don't want to sound like I'm poo-pooing it, but it's just like I feel different when I eat a certain way. There is no getting around it, And I'm so aware of how I'm thinking.
Yeah.
And it's not just have a moderation diet. Moderation doesn't frigging work for me. I'm an addict. Are you crazy? I don't have one croissant. I have 1,000. How can you turn around and tell me, just have a healthy balanced diet? What the fuck's a healthy balanced diet?
And what does it mean? Yeah. What does that mean? But also what you've just said is how well you feel when you're eating. So we have to remember we're talking about weight loss, and a lot of people come to me for weight loss, but then they say, oh my goodness, my energy levels are better, I'm sleeping better. Yes, the weight loss is coming off, but
better. I'm not snapping.
What about all those things?
I'm not pissed off at the kids,
Yeah, but the problem is that they may get these health benefits, but sometimes if they're not losing weight, okay, if people aren't losing weight, then it demoralizes them. They can't stick to what they're doing. So they think, what's the point in doing it if the weight's not coming off? And then they'll emotionally eat and everything spirals. So it's always like working out, well, why are you not losing weight? Is it an adrenal issue? Is your cortisol too high? Is it too low? Is it your hormones, like your female sex hormones? Is it thyroid? Is it your gut? So we've got to work out what is it that's going on. And in our age,
you can't just turn around to a woman, say you're a 55-year-old male doctor, and turn around to a 48-year-old perimenopausal woman and tell her to moderate. That's all I've been fucking doing all my life, pal. Don't start now. It's like so annoying. I say, you need to reduce your calorie intake. No, she doesn't. She needs to up her good fats and somehow make a trade so she's got energy in her brain. The last thing she needs is less calories. Just utter 1980s topics. It's so mad. And the amount of messages I get. Oh, I've got to read how many calories you're eating. Sometimes I have 3,000 calories in a day. And that's just fat alone,
Yeah, and as we know that, you could eat, I mean, you know what, I don't actually know how many calories are in a Mars bar, but what I'm saying is imagine eating 4 Mars bars a day or eating that equivalent in calories.
Mars bars a day. If you put one in front of me, I could easily eat 4 Mars bars a day. But I don't want to because it'll mess with my brain.
And you know what?
The same amount of calories an MCT or I feel shit hot and I feel them.
You could be spiking your insulin and storing fat on those 4 Mars bars, but the same amount of calories on a healthy, balanced protein, vegetable, healthy fats meal. Well, you're more likely to put on weight with those Mars bars because it's going to be spiking your insulin and storing fat. So there we go.
Exactly. And how can they say it's got nothing to do with hormones? It's calories in.
Yes.
Of course it's hormones. It's all frigging the bastard. Oh, I'm right down on people.
She's on one. She's off on one, everyone.
I need some more GABA. Listen, seriously, about this GABA, I've got about 6 grams of it.
But GABA's great. You know what? GABA is we would obviously they don't sell it in the UK. Now the precursor to GABA is taurine. So if you can't get hold of GABA, you can get hold of taurine. It's not as strong.
Steak. Oh, turkey.
No, that's tryptophan, but taurine is another amino acid. If you can buy that as a supplement, and as long as you take it like between meals, otherwise it's just going to get digested. Even GABA should be away from meals. So if you take like taurine, one mid-morning, say one mid-afternoon, is quite useful. It's not as strong as GABA though. Not as strong as GABA.
I mean, the thing is with me and that GABA, so, I mean, you're meant to like take probably 1. So I obviously took 6 of them, which would equate to like about 3 grams of it.
Did you feel chill?
No, I get a bit breathless, and it sends a sort of hot flush through my body. I know, I'm totally overdosing.
And then did you feel?
And then I drink a load of kombucha, and then I get like this rushing feeling, almost like I've had a glass of wine, and I've sort of like calmed down, and everything like the house is falling down, dogs have shit everywhere. Matthew's like done X, Y, and Z, and the kids are running around naked like lunatics. But I'm okay. I've got a GABA rush.
Well, there you go. You see GABA. So if you have a slip on your GABA gene, so a lot of people who do then turn to alcohol to help them relax. Okay, but GABA, everyone,
that equation's gone. That is out because I went over the top.
It's gone.
Of course I did.
But we know your issues, and you know what? When you look, so many people are like you. You're not. You know, there are loads of people with addictive personalities. And that's not going to go away. It's like learning like you had to manage it and drive it in a different direction.
I mean, I know taking a load of GABA is not going to have me end up in some sort of court situation on a drunk driving charge or being arrested. I'm just going to have a hot flush in my kitchen for like a few seconds, get a buzz on. Yeah. That's it. So I at least know it's not going to have me in Porto Banús doing something horrific.
I might try a few more. I said last time I had to do this ITV interview about 6 months ago or something. And I took one GABA and I thought, it's not doing anything. I'm still really nervous. And I took another one and I thought, slightly working. And then typical me, I was like, oh, I can't take another one. Whereas you would have just gone.
Oh my God, I'd have just spiked you back in the day.
Well, I was worried then I would go, hello.
She's had a stroke. Oh my God. Right, okay, let's crack on. 53, no energy. I've put on weight and I've just started a no-carb diet. Stick with it, is the advice.
Was the no energy before or on the no-carb diet? Because, I mean...
Maybe she should offer minerals. Just maybe she's, getting that keto flu.
Yes, that's what I'm wondering. So electrolytes, absolutely get in some electrolytes. It's very common when, keto flora or not even keto, when you cut down your carbohydrates, it's really common to lose a lot of salt. So either get salt into your food, as you say, Celtic sea salt, whatever, or sodium, magnesium, potassium, electrolytes.
That drink as well that you, what's it called? Totem. It's quite a good one. You can just drink that. I mean, it all tastes like seawater, doesn't it?
Yeah. Somebody was asking about taurine. So taurine is is a precursor to GABA. It's an amino acid, and you can get it in supplement form. Okay. And the reason why
I actually get my GABA when I'm in the UK from an American company called Piping Rock, and it looks dodgy as hell. And you just get a big tub of it, and you just like chuck it in your kombucha.
I mean, it's much stronger than taurine.
And just wait for the bus, like you sat in the kitchen on your own, like a freak. Me. Okay, I'm 48. I walk 8 miles a day. Perimenopausal. I'm vegan, yet putting on weight.
So, okay.
So I kind of have a problem with the vegan diet, sort of for weight loss. It's going to be so tricky.
Definitely need to supplement very, very well, and need to look at, because I mean, you'd have to eat a ton of like fermented tofu or something, which is, so we're talking about high biological value proteins, which we as meat, fish sort of eaters, we get from meat, fish, eggs.
I'm doing
Yeah, all of that. And you can get it, and you get it from sort of tofu, but that's the only vegetable.
It's got to be fermented tofu, right?
Always fermented, but that's the only source.
Normal soy is an estrogen disruptor, isn't it?
Yes, so I'd go for fermented. But it is the only high biological value protein. So as we get older, we absolutely our protein needs really go up. So I would look at, the problem is, with a vegan diet, sometimes they're eating a lot of things like chickpeas and pulses, and whilst they're very good source of fiber, too many of those are also going to become quite carby. So I don't know what else is going
high
on.
Carb diet. It's super high. It's like I said before in like the movie Game Changers. You've got some of the best ultra runners in the world on a vegan diet. Of course, first of all, they're like 30 years old, but secondly, they're running about 200, 300 miles a week. So they're burning those carbs. There is no way you're going to burn that amount of carbs, like a kilo of chickpeas in one serving, by going for an 8-hour walk. You need to times that by 10.
Yeah, so obviously we don't really know what else is going on in the diet, but that would just be something.
Would you recommend she had like B12 injections, this sort of thing?
Well, she needs B12, absolutely needs to supplement with B12 for sure. But you have to be very clever on a vegan diet, very, very clever with your supplements.
I mean, it's really exciting if you're into this, like geeking out and stuff. There's ways of doing it, but it'll be expensive and it needs real research to get the right amount of protein to keep you lean and keep you uninflamed and keep you mentally.
Yeah, so I think if people are doing vegan for ethical reasons, that's one thing. I would not, dissuade them otherwise. But if people are doing becoming vegan because they think it's, the best thing for their health and weight loss, no.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really missing my bone broth protein powder. I've ran out. I use Ancient Nutrition. I can only get it when I'm in London. It's an American thing, and it's grass-fed, grass-finished beef bone broth. And I have to use a pea protein here. My stomach's massive. I've got so many carbs in me. Makes me fart, everything, But I mean, it's just quick protein.
And the pea protein, sometimes people who can't digest pea protein, well, for you, I think we've got to get your digestive enzymes arriving. But sometimes people who can't digest the pea protein powder, sometimes they're slightly low on stomach acid. That can be. And actually, what can help is upping apple cider vinegar. So drinking some apple cider vinegar in water.
Okay, I'm going to have some apple cider vinegar tonight then. I'm going to start doing that. Digestive enzymes.
But some people don't get on with that pea protein. Some people don't.
No, I mean, the choice here is pretty limited. But I mean, I'd always go for a bovine-based protein.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. Does drinking water really make a difference to weight loss?
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. It helps with liposis, helps with the fat burning, helps with detoxing, flushing it out. So you do need to be drinking a fair amount. I always base it on, roughly, 35 mils.
I've got like 1 minute left. How did that
God, 35 mils per kilo of body water. Work that one out. That's how much you should be drinking, roughly. And
I'd always add some pink Himalayan salt, or actually I put Celtic salt in, or Malden salt, little bit of lemon. I'd always add the electrolytes just to make sure that you're drinking them and you're not flushing them out. And also you can add chia seeds to your water and it becomes a gel. And that gel gets into your cells better. So if you really want to hydrate but not up on the loo at night, make sure you put chia seeds in so it goes that gelatinous sort of watery, weird frog spawning.
Yeah. But I think electrolytes brilliant. If you're cutting down your carbs, you find you're suddenly weighing loads, get in your electrolytes because you need to support your kidneys. Somebody mentioned they were getting a bit of pain around their kidneys. Obviously go to the doctor, but get in some, support the kidneys with electrolytes.
Mega. Fabulous. What do I think of the powder from Barry's in London? I think it's vegan, so I never have it. And it's £7 a go, so I definitely don't have it. And I actually don't have protein for an hour after I've trained because my body's too busy trying to recover after a Barry's. Okay, guys. Well, we'll see you next week. I don't know what you want to talk about next week, but probably
same again.
Probably come back to poo and farting because of that. Toilet humour.
We've still got more questions. We've got
loads more questions. Right, guys, but we'll see you next week. And we will endeavour to answer these anyway.
Yeah, we will.
Adios and happy birthday for Thursday.
Oh, thank you.
Bye,
everyone.
Bye, everyone. Bye.